what up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Heart of the 50 States. I'm your boy QB, quietly brilliant. You know what I'm saying? I always give a shout out to my sponsors first, Industry Sounds and Midwest Lavish for keeping me fresh. Today I'm here with author, um, entrepreneur, uh, you name it, he probably got his hands in it. You know what I'm saying? Big Sid, we call him SO. You know what I'm saying? But Sydney Ogletree. What's going on, brother?
What's up, man? How you doing, man? Nice to be here.
Yeah, welcome back to the
Yes,
Heart of the
sir.
50 States for a second time.
Yes, sir.
Um, you've been moving, working.
Man, busy.
Oh
Busy.
yeah, trucking. I forgot to say CDLs, trucking, auto mechanic shop.
I've
Uh,
been building.
oh yeah, for
I've been
sure.
building, man.
Make
I've
sure
been building.
make sure you're talking to that microphone. Um, building. You also author, writing a book. Let's start at the book.
Okay.
Uh, what do we got going on with the book?
Man, with the book, it's a lot going on, man. I revised it. Um, it's coming back out on 28th of April, and I have a foreword on there from a doctor. You know, because I was getting a lot of backlash about how can he say that he's not a doctor, but it's my trauma though. But
Yeah,
in today's world, you need that certification to be able to say certain things. So that's fine. It's cool. I know people that know people, so I went
yeah,
and got one. I went and got what I needed, and this time, they can't deny it this time. I have a conference coming up in Dallas next month for mental health awareness. It's called the ACE. It's the second annual ACE Awareness Conference. And there it'll be doctors, psychologists, other authors. And it's just basically to point out trauma, man, how trauma affect kids, man, they go a long way, even into your adulthood, which was one of the reasons and my main reasons I wrote this book, you know.
and the book is called Black Man, right?
Yes, how to
Uh,
prevent early troubles in a young black man.
okay. What are some of the things that it's touching on though? Like the
The synopsis of the book is basically to bring awareness to problems parents may not think affect their kids, such as family dysfunction. You
hmm
know, say for example, a little girl watch her mother gets go through domestic violence, things like that. A little girl or a little boy. You know, constant stability changes, parents not having themselves together, you know, in and out of jobs, in and out of different houses, constantly moving, things we have to set a tone for a kid early.
yeah,
So it touches on stuff like that. But one of my biggest subjects that it touches on in this book is environmental changes. And that subject is called Change Your Cat Child's Environment. And say you might have a smart kid, right?
hmm
But you got him, he's in poverty. Now, poverty exists, but he can flourish all the way through and through if he's in the wrong setting. Setting matter. Now, finances matter too. Everyone isn't able to take their kids to the best school
facts.
or the best neighborhood. But that's where that parenting and those morals come into play heavier than ever. And this book touches a lot of those things too. The book, it's not a long book. It's broken up into five parts. The beginning years, the adolescent years, the teenage years, troubled teens, and transition into adulthood. And within these chapters, man, it's some deep stuff.
Yeah, and
you
and,
know,
and most of it is from experience, correct?
absolutely.
How you was brung up.
Hmm.
Shed a little light on. I always we've passed that now, but I always like to give my guests a chance to kind of give the people a background of who they are. But give us a background on your childhood, how you grew up. You
Okay.
know, how how was So made? What made So who he is today?
Well, man, that's a good question because I got an interesting background. I was born in Kansas City, Missouri. Um, I wasn't born to a super poor family, but
Mm-hmm.
I say middle class. I should say, everyone still had to work for anything they had, of course. Um, Somewhere along the line, man, my parents they kind of always had some dysfunctional living.
Yeah.
Um, pops drinking, you
Same.
know,
We went through the same.
so poverty stories.
Yeah.
Um, so I went through things with my parents, and eventually we were taken from their custody. And my grandparents wound up raising me. I want to give a big shout out to my grandmother because through all my mishaps, she still did the best she can do. She did a great job, and but this touches back on that book. We were already corrupted before we moved with her.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So she's trying to change some kids that's already used to dysfunctional living. So my grandmother, she did the best she could do, man. She is a histologist.
Mm.
She worked for Truman Medical Center, man. And my grandfather, he worked for the water department. And they did the best they could do. They gave me a good life. I can honestly say they gave me a good life. But I was hard headed.
Yeah.
I was hard headed, and I was always into fast things, fast money, fast girls, all of that stuff, man. I was always into that type of stuff. Everything that's trying to keep me from, I just wouldn't let them.
Yeah.
I wanted to see, and what they say, a hard
Yeah,
head make
make
a
us-
soft ass.
Yep.
So I had to learn, and when you're dealing with the youth today, they as much as we try to prevent them, some want to just see. They
Yeah.
think they could do it their way, and their way don't work. And that's one thing I want to try to venture off into more than ever is help the youth, man, because this youth today is so misguided.
Oh yeah. It's actually crazy because we try to put on open mic nights and stuff to
I've been
try to
seeing
keep
that.
them try to keep
Yeah,
them out of trouble.
it's
But
not.
it seemed like no matter how hard you try, man, trouble finds them here in the
Yeah,
city.
yeah.
What's other ways or what ways do you think we can start to prevent that?
Um,
The ops, and what's
man,
going on here in the streets is
I
is
know I
crazy.
was in it.
Yeah,
Like I was in it.
facts.
I
so
was in it, man. It's just
so what more than from somebody that was in it to talk about it? You know what I'm saying? To actually tell us
it's
what it's
just
like.
the average answer that a person to say they need more to do.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say that because it's a lot to do everywhere. It starts at home. It starts at home. As parents, we gotta. I mean, because I'm a parent, we gotta hold on tight to our kids. We gotta be in their business.
yeah,
What are you doing? What do you got going on? We gotta be in their face, man. And people could say, "Oh, I don't want to be strict because they'll do it anyway." Nah, we need to know what's going on all the way through and through. I think I would say to all the young kids and to the younger generation, man, you got a long future. Don't rush to be adults.
man.
Don't rush to be adults, man. Everything is gonna be in there. Everything is gonna be there. And I touch on stuff like that in this book. That's in the teenage years. You
Mhm.
know, it's okay to be different. It's
Yeah,
it's it's okay to not be cool because
yeah,
what's cool to the in crowd, man, how they go look 10 years from now,
facts.
out of high school.
That's facts.
You know, I got a subject in this book called "The Nerd is the most triumph." Because they go, "Oh, he a nerd," because he in his books he a nerd. You know what I'm saying? And that nerd on track to be a millionaire.
Yep.
All he got to do is stay focused.
Yeah.
But see, this is what people don't tell you. This is, if anything, if I could give back to the kids, I would create a program. It's in the making, by the way. I create a program that shows the mishaps of life.
Yeah, because and I feel you on that because everybody always the internet is crazy.
Absolutely.
Um, that's the biggest problem, bro. Everybody's doing good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody ever hurts. Nobody ever
Mm.
suffers. Nobody's ever broke.
Yeah.
Everybody drives a foreign.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Um, and it's crazy what that internet will make people do these days, man. And I think that's a big factor in our kids too. They gotta look cool, even though, for instance, I'm just gonna put it out there because I can't hold it. Um, Guys come to our shows, right? Our open mic shows. They have on these chains, bro, and I'm talking about this. If it was real, it'd be 200, 300
Oh,
grand. You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying? But then when I look down at your shoes, they falling apart.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. We gotta
Exactly.
pull it together. If you're gonna look the part, look the part.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? And it's all because of the internet because they
Mm-hmm.
want to look like they got. It's okay. Fuck a chain. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I, to be honest with you, bro, I can't wait to take this shit off when this shit is
It's
over.
heavy, ain't it?
Yeah. I can't wait to take this shit off. I don't wear this normally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But to see it glorified in so many crazy ways is weird. You know what I'm saying? And you're willing to have bad shoes to get
Mm-hmm.
uh
It's just, man, a misconception of life in general, and not just with the youth, with adults as well.
yeah,
It's not prioritized, man. It's not prioritized. The chain is the last thing you need to get
man.
if you don't have everything. This this is a luxury.
Facts.
This comes after. I mean, I would hope good credit, house bond, and everything else. You know what I'm saying? Of course, for some people they need it for the image, but it's bigger than that, bro. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. We have seen people gain everything and lose it all. It
Yeah.
comes and goes, man. The money comes and go. It comes and goes. So it's a lot of things that I pray for our youth, man. To today, I mean, I was once a at risk youth chasing chains and all that, and eventually I got those things.
Yeah.
And once you bought it, it's like, okay, what's next? Nothing's never good enough. You always on to the next thing.
Yeah.
You know, so I just want my youth that I take up under my wing to understand, man. You got time to do everything. You got time to do everything, man. And that's goes back to what that ACE awareness conference is about, man. It's for traumatized and at risk youth, man. And it's gonna be a beautiful thing
D-
that I'm really looking forward to.
Dope. Are you writing any other books, or you got any other books that you creating right now? Are you in the lab working? What you
Oh
working on
man,
right now?
I actually have 5 more books ready. They chilling on ice. Urban novels there is, and I have another thesis book. I call it a thesis book
Hmm.
because it's this is things you have been through. So you're able to speak on these things. But I have a book on recidivism that I'm working on, and I'm just looking for a few more resources before I put it out. Because I had statistic numbers going in it. So I'm up to something with that. And that book is going to go hand in hand with this. I got a 501c3 that's forming as we're speaking, called Imperial Partnership. You know,
Okay. And That's also the name of your distribution or publishing
Publishing
company.
Yep. So I do everything Imperial, man.
Yeah.
So, Imperial, if you know what it means royalty.
Yes, sir.
And Imperial Partnership is going to be to give back to at-risk youth, man. And for the adults, it's going to be to give back to recidivist adults. I'm looking at some Oxford houses at the moment. Um, I don't. I really. I'm more so looking at the land for it in Texas.
Okay.
I got some on my sleeve.
Yeah. Any way that we can help or be a part of Imperial anything. You already know we down. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man. I
We gonna
appreciate
push
that.
that
You
shit
always
together.
have been, man.
Oh yeah, I support the home team.
Yes,
You know what
sir.
I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Especially when it comes to anything positive. You know what I'm saying? That's what we got to push more than anything because I feel like the youth have seen us push so much negative that that's all they want to see. That's all. If you put something positive out there, it gets overlooked. But as soon as you get out there on there shouting or acting a damn fool,
They want to see it.
they want to see it.
They want to see it. And I seen a post, man. I don't know how long ago it's been, but it's like black people love drama. It's
People love drama.
and people do. Yeah, people do. I don't like it.
I don't either.
I run far
Me
from it.
too. I love my
I
peace.
do.
I love my peace,
I
but
run far.
um, and that's something that you got to learn as you get older is to protect your peace. These kids don't understand how much it's gonna mean to them later on in life. You know what I'm saying? Cause that's all I value these days, bro. I don't like to be bothered when I don't want to be bothered. You know what I'm saying? And I put myself in a position, and I'm telling you this too, as somebody older, and put yourself in position, bro, where you ain't got to be bothered with nobody. You ain't got to ask nobody for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Make it easier on yourself. So when something happen, be like, I already got it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to go ask somebody because more times out of none, they can't wait to throw it in your face anyway later on in life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And fuck that. That's why I've become so fucking independent in everything that I do, bro. If I don't have the money for it, I'm gonna go find it somewhere, and I ain't gonna ask your motherfucking ass. You better, you know what I'm saying?
It's
It's a gift.
absolutely.
It's a gift that the higher power has given me to be able to go and get it. You know what I'm saying? I won't take advantage of it. I'll use it for what it needs to be used for.
Listen, man.
And I see you doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? We both been blessed, and these last few years, of course, you've had to go away for a while, a few times. You know what I'm
It was a
saying?
blessing, man, but I had to learn.
Yeah,
I had to learn, man. It goes back, like I told you before, man. Once you get tired of going through something, man, you would change that. As men, if anything goes wrong, it's our fault.
yeah,
No matter what it is, it's our fault because as men, we supposed to be able to see the whole board. That don't mean we know everything. But man, I'm 30, 35. Man, if you don't got it figured out by now, you in trouble.
man. That's about the time that I figured out. I was about 33 when I figured out I wanted to be married, and you know what I'm saying. I need a life to change. So
Exactly.
you on the right track.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying. How did prison change you though? Cause your first stint you did how long?
My first stint I did 3 years, and this last year. No, my first stint I did 3.5, and this last year's time I did almost 7.
Yeah.
So man, I got them people 10 altogether. In my life, and I did it my whole my 20s pretty much. I came home when I was 22. Then I left again when I was 28. And come on to man, I was 34. I just got to spend my first birthday out. In a long time, man. And it's just like this last time, no, I lost a lot. I lost a lot because the first time I went, I didn't have kids.
Mm.
I didn't know what it was like to live life. I didn't know what it was like to have things. This last time though, it was hard because I got kids now. I live life. I live good. Well, I live good. I felt like I lived good. So to have it took it away from me, like I recall, man, when they got me, when they finally picked me up, man, a week before they picked me up, I was just at the Hilton in Chicago.
Yeah, I remember. Listen, I remember.
To go into looking at bugs and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, man, I was just in the Hilton. And I'm knowing it's over with because I know all the stuff I did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's just like, you know, and fighting, I can honestly say, man, fighting my case made me. You know, fighting my case turned me into Arthur, man, because that was the only thing that brought me some peace was writing.
Hmm.
You know, it just one day I'm reading books. I'm like, man, I'm about to just write me a book, you know. And I wrote it. So once I wrote it and finished it, I'm like, man, I'm gonna put it out. I didn't want to just be another author who wrote a book and didn't put it out, man. So I put it out, and that wound up being good for me, man, because at the end of the day, it created things like this to this day. And you know, I was facing a lot of time, man. I dealt with a lot of mental stress, fighting my case, not knowing how much time I was gonna get. You know, when you in them rooms and in them situations, only person you can depend on is that lawyer.
Yeah.
I'm like your best friend.
Man.
You know, and I can say, man, my lawyer did good for me, man. And the result of it, you know, at first I thought I could just beat my case. And I could have probably, but
It would have costed.
it cost me out the gate.
Yeah, I know.
You know, it cost me some money out the gate, but I mean, once they didn't do a certain action I needed them to do, I knew I was gonna do some time.
Mm.
So it was either go to trial and it be 50-50, or take the time and see daylight soon. So I said, you know what? If my kids will be this old when I get back home, let's go.
Yeah.
Since you got that to do, I went and did my time. I did my time honorably, man, and I came home. You know, and people gotta understand it's go rain, but when the sun go shine.
Oh
again.
yeah, for sure. For
You
sure.
know what I'm saying? The sun go shine again, and that's life, man. And you know, when I wrote that book, man, I wrote this book in prison, and I just knew I wanted to give back. Cause I mean, it's messed up as it sound. And Pacino said it years ago. He said, "I was blessed to be in prison."
Mm. I've heard a lot of people say that.
Man, prison beyond blessed me, man.
Mm.
And I just take all the lessons I learned and try to keep them applied today.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, I went through a lot. I went through a lot behind them walls, good and bad. You know, but at the end of the day, I'm still here standing, and you know, it ain't too bad. It didn't kill me.
Yeah.
You know.
Let's. Can you talk about what landed you in prison?
I can, man. I can.
So okay. So the first time, what did you go to prison for?
The first time I went to prison for, I got a trafficking and unlawful use of a weapon. You know, I got caught with multiple pounds of weed on the interstate and a weapon. And I was only 18 then.
Mm.
You know, I was only 18 then, but I got caught in a hick town, Columbia. You know,
Getting to it at an early age.
yeah, man. And, man, they got me. They, highway patrol pulled me over, man. You know, once again, you know, thinking I know everything. You know, thinking I'm all the way good. You know, that wasn't the best outcome. You know,
So okay, so they pull you over,
yeah.
right? how do they know it's something in the car? Did somebody tell on you, or
Well,
there
for
was a
one, the
tip?
car wasn't registered to me.
Ah, you was tripping.
Yeah, the car wasn't registered to me. I had a woman with me. Uh, tinted windows.
Yeah.
Uh, all that. I ain't from down here. All that, man. So, hey man, come on, step out the car. You know, it was bad. A young man caught with a weapon, and that was I was actually on probation already for a weapon. So I was on SIS probation for a weapon. Had I completed it, I would have walked it down with free and clear, no felonies. So now I'm arrested. That violated me. Boom. I got a new felony, and I want to say at the time the gun was young and dumb. I was young and dumb, man. But at the time the gun was the numbers were scratched, all type of shit, man.
Ah.
So by the grace of God, I didn't go to the feds then. You know, it just, I was blessed. Yeah, I was blessed, man. So that was the first one that led me to prison the first time. It took. I was on bond for a year fighting a case, but it resulted in an 8 year sentence. I did with 0%. I did 3.5. I came on home. I did good for a while, man. I actually did. I stayed home for 6 years last time, and somewhere down the line, you know, uh, chaos just started happening. Back and forth, man. I wound up getting shot, and I just remember, man, that turned me to a whole different type of
Mm.
little dude, man. And it wasn't no more peace after that. The peace was broken. So when you say peace is at the top of your list now, I understand because I know what it's like to be in chaos and live your life in chaos. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna keep this too drawed out, but you know, it led into a lot of things. It led to a lot of retaliation.
This is the
Both
second
the
time.
going into my second bid,
Okay.
it led to a lot of retaliation, man, and on both sides, and it's a messed up way to live. So in the midst of that, I'm going through that. I'm feuding with different people and stuff. We ain't saying eye to eye about nothing. And what they say, man, when two men feel some kind of way, man, it's not a good thing.
Right.
When two men have something heavy on their chest, man, and that's when violence and stuff can happen. It's just not good. So I went through that. I'm, I went through another situation where a woman tried to set me up and stuff. And I took the matters into my hands the way I did. I mean, I was raised around dudes in the street that honor the code, and I was taught that. And I mean, don't break that code. And they broke that code. She broke that code, and that was a problem for me.
Mm.
That was a problem for me. Well, in the midst of it, that led up to me when they wound up getting me, because I was on bond for one of my cases. I wound up getting in an altercation at Walmart where some dudes, man, we had words. They ran up on me, kind of like ran up on me, man. And I discharged my weapon. I mean, like I said, I live by that code. So it's not even just a code. Safety and security is first
Yeah.
in life.
Yeah. Self defense.
Safety and security is first in life. Me defending myself at that time wasn't a problem, but me chasing after them and stuff, that is where the crime became.
Mm.
And I tell anybody and everybody, and especially for the youth, you need to know that law. It's important to know the law because it can save you from things that if you know it, you wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know, how many people is out here today that don't know the law? They just going through the motions of life, adults and kids.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
crazy.
hmm
But if you wouldn't have chased them, if you would have stood your ground,
I could have beat it.
yes,
As a matter of
yes,
fact, they wouldn't even charge me.
yep.
You know,
Stand your ground law. Missouri is a stand your ground state.
so that that came into play. They wound up giving me a bond. Then they wound up throwing another shooting at me like 3 months prior after I bonded out on that. You know, and that had me, man. That had me fighting 10 felonies.
Mm.
You know, I want to say I was fighting. I was fighting. I'm gonna tell you, I was fighting 3 assaults. I was fighting 3 armed criminal actions, looting, uh, and 3 unlawfuls, bro. So for
Damn,
every person, they gave it assault and unlawful and ACA with it.
damn.
You know what I'm saying? And then if I would have went to trial and lost, I was facing an 8 felony penalty,
Which would have landed you how
which
much
would have
time?
enhanced it to all A's, 30
Damn, man.
plus. You know what I'm saying? So when I went, as I was fighting my case, I was looking for a severance because when they came to pick me up, it was eluding. So I knew once they didn't sever that case, that eluding from them, I knew it wasn't no healing. It wasn't no chance in hell I was gonna go to trial
Yeah. He said, "Fuck that."
because then my background would have came up,
Yeah.
and then I would have lost. And so it's like they offered me, and because I really could have beat it, man. So they came with a 6 year. I said, let's ride. I see, you know what I'm saying? Let's go.
Knock them down.
Yeah, come on. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I would. Now that I can say it, if they would have said came with 10, I probably would have took
Snatched
it.
out then too, huh?
Cause but they came with 15. We countered the 10. They said no. Then they came. I want to say like 9. We countered the 6. They took the 6, but they took the 6 with an 85, which stuck me the whole 6.
Mm-hmm.
So we was trying to get a 5 with no 85%, but they wasn't going. They like, nah, he ain't better be home in no 2 years. So yeah, but they took the 6, man. I learned a lot of lessons, man. You know, God blessed me to still be able to provide for my kids and my wife and my family in general, man. And I can't complain. I came home. I accomplished some things. You know, I relocated, man. I wrote some books. You know, I started some businesses, gained some business ideals, and I'm here, bro. I can't complain. I got a good life, man. You know, for real.
What's the ultimate thing that prison has taught you? You think?
Oh man, prison has taught me. For one, it taught me how to structure my life and set myself up, man. That's key. That's key in life is setting yourself up. You know, creating because life is about a rhythm.
Facts.
You know, when you see, look at Jordan and them. They didn't win all them championships because just was who was the best. They went off of a good rhythm.
Yeah.
You got to have a good rhythm, man. And prison could teach you so much about yourself, from good to bad. Um, First, you got to set yourself up. Because if you don't got a true routine, I know for me, if I don't got a routine, man, I feel like I'm all over the place. You know, but to consistently follow that routine day in and day out, it starts to become who you are.
Yeah.
You know, even out here in society, you win so long that just become who you are. You know, life is gonna happen regardless, but you go know how to adjust. You know, prison teach you how to have communication skills.
Facts.
You're dealing with so many walks of life. You know, it can get some dudes that make you want to hit them upside the head. But at the end of the day, that's not the way to go. That's
Yeah.
not the route to go. You know, communication is key. You know, the best thing two people can have is understanding. You know, so I say communication taught me how to communicate. It taught me patience, especially with my anger. You know, I get upset fast. My patience has gotten a lot better over the years, but my patience is still short. I ain't gonna lie.
Same here.
And
It
that's
don't
why,
change, bro.
yeah,
You just learn how to deal with them a little bit
yep.
better. That's
You just
all.
you learn how to deal with it a little bit
Yeah.
better. And I know my patience is messed up, so for me, I'm a loner.
Same here. You
You
already
know,
know.
yeah.
We know each other. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Whenever we see each other outside of here, it's I'm by myself,
Absolutely,
and you normally by yourself. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
And then if you do call us, we
Hmm.
with our families.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You don't never see me with a bunch of dudes,
For
or
what?
if I am with dudes, I'm here at the studio
Hmm.
with Stony, Mab,
Hmm.
Andreas, just here hanging out. But other than that, I'm with my wife, bro. You know what I'm
You
saying?
ain't, man. Any real man, you ain't gonna never really see them with a lot of men because
Yeah.
a old head told me this years ago. An elder, I'm gonna say an elder told me. He said the only time two men is even supposed to communicate is when business is involved.
Man,
You
smart
know,
man.
you know. Matter of fact, he was an Uber driver taking me to the airport. He was an elder though. You know, we just got to talking. You know, I was leaving Houston, headed. I want to say somewhere. I probably was headed here. You know, and I was headed out of town. I know, but he was taking me to the airport, and we just got to talking, man. He actually wound up buying a book too.
Mm.
You know, but we just got to talking, and he say, you know, man, the only time two men is supposed to even communicate is when business is involved, and that stuck with me, bro. You know, I never heard that as a child. I never heard that was the first time in my whole
Was he
adult life.
American?
Yeah, he's a black man.
Okay.
Yep. And that was the first time I ever heard that in my life.
This is the first time me hearing it, and it makes perfect sense,
And
though.
it stuck with me, man, but I ain't never been a guy who wants to hang with everybody anyway.
Man.
And everything is not everybody's business.
Yeah.
Even your partners. You know what I'm saying? You know, it, even in marriages, you know, that's why they got joint accounts. You know,
Yeah.
but that woman's money is hers and it's yours. The joint account is ours.
Yeah.
Everything ain't everybody's business, man. You know, it just so I'm not, I'm okay with that. But prison, and I was the same way in prison, man. I had a few good guys that we we had good chemistry, man. But outside of that, man, you got to keep it close knit. I keep it close knit, man. I keep it close knit for sure.
So when you came home, how did you settle, or was the beef settled? Is the beef settled between you and who you had the beef with?
Man,
How does that work for these kids who don't get that part of it? Like what how does that be settled, or is it never settled?
um, it settles when you say you had enough, honestly and truthfully, because when you determine once again, a man, if anything goes wrong, you allowed it to.
Mm.
You know, for me, I relocated, so I don't want to see nobody, and I don't want nobody to see me. So the best thing to do is change your where. You know, I heard years ago, man. He say, uh, if the room you in don't appreciate you, change your where. You
Mm.
change your where. You know what I'm saying? And this is a little off subject, but it goes into this. I love home. I love Kansas City. I truly do. This is our hometown. But I'm wise enough to know that home don't love me.
Yeah.
And I knew it was time to change my where. You know, all those rappers say, man, what Meek Mill say a long time ago, hey man, leave your hometown, man. They gonna kill you. That's real.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah, you do, especially if you get off into some crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you did the best thing, I'll never get a chance to tell you this, but I'm proud of you. You know what I'm saying
Proud of you.
for recognizing that you needed to move out of here because I remember your last stint. I'm telling my wife like S can't come back and live here.
Yeah.
He need to shake. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I didn't even have to tell you.
Cause you know.
Yeah,
When you get a certain level, man, you just know. And that's not to say you're better, a big me, little anybody else, but I just knew, man, I was too advanced to just come back and get involved into bull crap.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
You was smart already.
exactly,
You had the business mind frame.
exactly,
You wanted better then,
exactly.
but you was already caught up in that shit. You know what I'm saying? But you was already wanting to change your life, but you had to go get that part taken care of.
Exactly.
And you did. You stuck to your word. Most of the people that I'm around that's been through the situation like you, I always know that they gonna kind of come home and get back into the same shit. I didn't feel like that
No.
with you. I didn't feel like I knew it was over for you because you tell me, Unc, hey, this is it. And shout out to my nephew Vontae, free Vontae, ASAP, please. Um, and hopefully he gets it this time when he comes home because somebody like me, bro, seeing y'all do time like that away from y'all kids, it bothers me. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to see it, uh, especially nowadays because I know y'all good dudes. Y'all don't mean no harm for real, and we're a different type. We're all the same for real. We cut from the same cloth. We don't really bother nobody unless they bother us. We don't start no trouble, you know. But sometimes trouble finds us. Um, and you just got to stay out the way, like you said. Change your wear. Um, build an empire. Find something to do where it don't take a bunch of people. You've done that, bro. You've been out. You've you've wrecked some cars, some expensive cars. You spent some money, and you're still living.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I sure did. I wrecked that Corvette in LA. I wrecked a Corvette in LA.
I remember you called me. You called
Anyway.
me and said, "Unc, I just wrecked this car." I remember the night. I remember the night. So even situations like that coming, you've overcame them. Like you know what I'm saying? That's it's nothing to us because you know how to climb out of the situations, and you live life. You take care of your family, even while you was gone, bro. Your old lady, you couldn't tell S wasn't here on her birthday.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm looking like, God damn, here I am out here, and I ain't did that.
Yeah. Yeah. I
You
just
know what I'm
wanted to make
saying?
my presence felt while I was away, man. It was rough not being there, you know. I
Yeah.
just really wanted to make my presence felt for the most part, you know. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make my presence felt, man. So, you know, I just wanted to be there and hold up my end of the deal when it came to them kids,
Yeah.
you know, because
You did it. You
yeah,
did that.
you know, so I believe kids just deserve a chance, man. You know, I try to keep my kids in activities. You know, I try to make sure they got a solid, sound structure, no excuses. You know, and I hope that for every adult and their children as well, because they need it.
Yeah.
You know, they need it. You know, and I'm not looking for no pat on the back for something I supposed to do. You know, but you gotta give them kids a chance, and that's my biggest why. That's my biggest why, man. Is giving them kids a chance, bro.
And you're on the right track. Like I said, bro, flowers to you for everything you got going. Stay on that positive track. Um, stay where you are. Ain't really come in the city like you do a couple of days and be out this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? It's bigger shit out there for you, and continue to build your empire, bro. It's greater later.
It gets greater later.
It's greater later.
It's
Trust
rough.
me. It took me until 43 to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, I grew up where all my friends had money early.
Exactly.
Um, we had money, but my mother wasn't so frugal. You know, here
I
with
get
it.
it.
But we had money, but my friends had money from the streets. You know what I'm saying? But now those tables have turned. You see what I'm saying? To where I'm glad I didn't have that money back then,
Yeah.
because now the tables have turned. Most of them are where I used to be, and now I'm where they used to be. You see what I'm saying? I'm living now. Y'all got a chance to live back then, but trust me, life is better now.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of living it back then, and I'm grateful to whatever higher power made me wait,
Absolutely.
because it taught me patience and it taught me how to be humble, and I think that's why I have God's favor right now. You know what I'm saying? And
What is
everybody
your
around me.
turn?
Oh yeah, for sure,
What is your
for
turn? What
sure.
about? What about? You gotta think. What about all them hard nights when you working and going
Oh
through
yeah,
things and trying to come up with a plan to pay this and pay that? No one sees that. They only
nah,
see it. They only see the it now. You know what I'm saying? And you go through some things. You know, you go through some things in life, man. Just period. Like, and it goes back to that what I learned in prison, man. You know, this is vital for my youth, man, or adults. Period. Everybody, what they want to say, quote unquote, being a real, real nigga, right?
mm,
It's a lot that come with that. You know, from the streets to prison to everything. Like, are you gonna go about every situation the right way that makes you? You know, you got to stay down for everything. You know, when you get in them rooms and them cops get to asking you stuff, what are you gonna do? You know, when
yeah.
you get to the joint and all these dudes you and shot peoples in there, what are you gonna do? You know,
Listen, y'all listen.
when you go through when your best friends is trying to snake you out for money and shit, what is you gonna do? You know, when niggas start telling on you, what are you gonna do? All that goes into being a real nigga, quote unquote.
Mm,
You know, and it's a lot that come with that, man. Best thing a person should do is stay down with they self, find them something that can make them some money the right way, and get out the way, man. Cause it's bad out here,
it's definitely
and
bad.
you gotta stay down with yourself to become something.
Yeah,
And once you become something like you did, then the money will come, man, effortlessly. And
facts.
you learned you something, man, and now it's beautiful, like you said, man, for you, man. And it's that easy, man. A person just gotta know they self, know what they want, and go after it, man. And I used to have a saying, you put you put it together mentally, you press play and execute.
Yeah,
And that's how I live my life, bro. Put it together and I execute.
facts. And one of the best things I ever done for myself was be myself.
That's key.
You know what I'm saying? Find out who you are, man. Know what you'll go for and what you want, and
Absolutely.
stand on it. You
Absolutely.
know, that's one of the keys to this shit too. Is I had to take long stares in that mirror. You know what I'm saying? And check myself a couple times in this shit. Coming up, like you said, the working. You know, I worked my ass off
Yeah,
for
you
for
did.
10 years.
You did.
You know what I'm saying? To be in this position finally, and I'm proud of myself. You know what I'm saying? Because it's some days where I didn't see no end to it. You know what I'm saying? Besides working for somebody else for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Um, but like you said, thank you for grace. You know what I'm saying? And a praying mother and grandmother. Um, even though sometimes we don't see eye to eye,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? I know that their prayers, you know, helped. You know what I'm saying? Plus, I'm gonna go get her, bro.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go get it regardless if you help me or not. Like I said, I've put myself in position not to need nobody. I admire that about myself. You know what I'm saying? Because there were times where I needed people and they weren't there. You know what I'm saying? Or I expected people to be there and they weren't there. And they had it. You had it and you weren't there. Or you didn't give it. So y'all built this animal. You know what I'm saying? So don't be surprised when I see you and I just keep walking by and you got your hand out. You know what I'm saying? Um, I'll help those who have helped me. Uh, and that's it. I love those who love me. But there's some people who I love to death that I can never have around me anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because you showed me a side of you that I can no longer trust or respect anymore. And it hurts. It hurts real bad, but that's life, man.
No one's supposed to go with you, man.
Yeah.
It just they gonna be there. You know what I mean, and 9 times out of 10, when people start, when you just start putting distance in between people, especially when you got a strong love for them, that's something that's been brewing for
Oh
years
yeah.
or time period. And it just was that last time, man.
That was it.
You can't come back from that,
Yeah.
man. I've been waiting for it, but this is you're done.
Yeah.
You know, and life is go happen. Even when you get some more people gonna get cut off after this
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah,
That's just
facts.
how that go.
Yeah. And my biggest problem was, bro, I was trying to take everybody with me.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted everybody to go. You know what I'm saying? You know how I am. You call me up, hey, yeah, what you need? You know what I'm saying? I'm very outgoing. And to it was almost I'm loyal to a fault at times. You know what I'm saying? And I had to learn the hard way a little bit that not everybody loves you like they say they do. You know what I'm
Especially
saying?
with money involved, man.
Oh hell yeah!
Look at Lil Dirt. Look at Lil Dirt.
Prime example.
Prime example of everybody can't go.
Yeah,
Now look at him. He fighting for his life
yeah,
at the height of his life.
crazy.
That's some backward stuff.
It is, bro. And
You know,
shout out to Dirk and
absolutely.
his team. Hopefully they come out with some great results or some good results, but it ain't looking good.
Nah, man, I'm rooting for him like I know him,
Me
man.
too.
Like he
Same
got me put
here.
my whole bid
Yeah,
straight up. Like,
I fuck with Dirkie yo.
yeah, man. So
Shout out to his whole legal team. I hope they working. Um, but again, y'all, go check this book out. He's re-releasing it. What day we re-releasing?
April 28th.
April
April
28th.
28th, it'll be on all Amazon platforms, and it'll be in stores near you, man. Straight up.
Um, if there's anybody out here that wants to become an author or anything that you got underneath your belt now, what advice would you
Um,
have to give them?
you know, I have a lot of things going on. You know, I am eventually trying to step into the facilitation role. But right now, Imperial Publishing, you know, we have packages for people to where I have independent packages to where you can tap in with me. I can show you how to do it, show you how to put the book out and everything, show you how to get your EIME number. I got resources on books. That's nothing. As far as signing with Imperial Publishing, you know, of course, that's something we have to talk about. You know, I'm just like any other publisher when it comes to that. I want to see your work. You got to send in at least 3 chapters. You know, we put out all genres. We got kids books out. We got urban novels out. You know, and this is a parent prevention book. So, yeah, man, we got all genres. We touch, man. So if you are, I know it's so, and that's why I created it because I know it's so many people that want to write but don't know how to do it. You know, writing is an art, man, and not just an art. It's a way to express yourself. It's a way to let out pain, hurt, trauma. It's I advise anybody, and I tell people, a book is the simplest thing you can do for your platform if you create one,
Yeah.
and it can lead to so much. I'm working right now, man, with one of my Muslim brothers, and I just told him the same thing. I'm like, man, you need to write a book. You got a lot to say, and it's gonna lead to so much more. Alhamdulillah, it's gonna lead to so much more, and I want that for him because he wants to speak. He wants to speak.
Yeah. And give him that platform, like you said, and let him speak. You know what I'm saying? And keep on pushing a hard line like you. I don't know. I really don't have to tell you this. You know what I'm saying? Because you know it already. But continue to push your hard line, bro, and don't stop. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, bro, if you never heard me say it, I'm proud of you. You know what I'm saying? You got out this time and you hit the ground running. You know what I'm saying? You ain't playing. And I was looking for you to play a little bit. I was. I was like, man, this ain't gonna be on. And you got out here and you got your shit together quick. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the misses. Shout out to them babies because I know that's who inspires you to do and stay on the right track. Whenever I do call or talk to you, that's who you with. You know what I'm saying? And we talk at least once a week. You know what I'm saying? Just to check in with each other to make sure each other cool. And I appreciate that, bro. I don't have many people in my life like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you, the people here, and that's it because I'm going through a little troubled time with my family right now. So I just want to tell you thank you for always being a true friend or a brother. There ain't a time that I've called you and asked for something and you told me no.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm
Vice
saying?
versa, though.
Yeah, facts.
And I'm the type of person, man. I love those who love me. I love those who love me. And when it's that way, you can't tell them no. Because at the end of the day, we all we got.
Yeah.
And needing things doesn't necessarily mean needing money or needing something. Because even family, it's family that only call me when they want something. So and it bothers me. I ain't gonna lie. They don't know it bothers me.
Yeah.
But
Same here.
It bothers anybody because, man, it don't take nothing for a simple. How you doing, man?
Yeah.
Are you
A simple text, what's going on, cuz? Just checking on you.
Yeah.
I miss it too, bro. I miss it.
Mm-hmm.
I miss it even asking me for anything.
Mm-hmm.
Just the interaction. You know what I'm saying? But we'll get it together. You know what I'm saying?
It comes
one day.
in time.
Yeah. But like I said, stay on your grind. Y'all go get Black Man. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you have a young teenager, adolescent son that's maybe going through some kind, anything. Mental health is real. That's something else I want to touch on too. With this, come and get the book. If they want to reach you for publishing deals or anything like that, how can they reach you?
You can reach me. I'm on LinkedIn, Sid Ogletree. I pop up right on LinkedIn and Imperial Publishing LLC at gmail.com. I'm there, man. I'm there.
All right, y'all. Well, it's been the Heart of the 50 States, Quality, Brilliant, and Sid Ogletree, S.O., you know what I'm saying? My nephew. Thank you for stopping by, bro, sharing your story with us. Let's do this again soon. You know what I'm saying? Heart of the 50 States, like, comment, subscribe. Go get the book, y'all. Support. I ain't going to say support black business. Support business, period. We out.